Testing, testing. Jessica, can you hear me? Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, April 26, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. I'd like to start this meeting by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Marlowe? Present. Commissioner Connolly? Here. Commissioner Roden?
Here.
Commissioner Kogler?
Here.
Commissioner Neal?
Here.
Commissioner Christensen?
Here.
Chairperson Covarrubias?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Staff introductions, please.
Marcy Reynoso and Jessica Ferguson, permit technicians.
Warren Frace, Community Development Director.
Piper Smith, Assistant Planner.
Darren Nash, City Planner.
And this is Andrew Falsto from the City Attorney's Office.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on, are there any general public comments regarding matters not on the agenda? Seeing none here. Marcy, any callers?
No callers.
Thank you very much. Next item, are there any agenda items proposed to be tabled or rescheduled?
There are none.
Thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to the public hearing portion of the agenda. First item, development plan amendment to establish a storage laydown yard at Sensorio and solar array system. Sharon, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to inform everyone I had an ex parte meeting with the applicants that showed me around their whole area,
Okay.
including this.
Okay. Staff presentation?
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. I'm here today to present the amendment to PD 01025, the Entrada de Paso Robles laydown yard and solar array, more commonly known for their Sensorio light exhibit. So this amendment would be PD 2503. So the site is located at 4380 Highway 46 East. So the site is approximately 386 acres. It has general plan and zoning designation of parks and open space, agriculture. It is a part of the airport land use plan and the gateway design standards. Here's a map just zoomed out a little bit showing the kind of adjacent sites: Highway 46 East, Barney Schwartz Park, Hunter Ranch Golf Course, and then there in the red bubble you can see the overall site. So for some context, Master Development Plan PD 01025 right now currently has the existing Sensorio light exhibit with the entitlement for a future hotel, resort, and convention center. Originally, the area where you can see highlighted in yellow for the storage laydown yard was proposed to be a nursery, and the solar array in the yellow to the right was originally proposed to be a vineyard. One thing I do want to note about the storage laydown yard is there is an existing 20-foot beam there, so it is primarily graded out with only some kind of minor improvements needed. And the laydown yard and solar array would both be accessory to the existing entitlements and uses on site. So this project did go to DRC June 16th. DRC was requesting additional photo simulations of the gate to the laydown yard, as well as close-ups of the solar arrays. They were also looking to get some nighttime photographs of the parking lot lighting to compare it to how you would see that gate. One determination that was made by DRC was that no additional landscape was required. This was to reduce the visual prominence of the gate, given that it's meant to be kind of a back of house use and not draw attention to it. With that being said, I am going to have Amber Davis step up and speak on behalf of the applicant as she was present for the DRC meeting. I will kind of follow up with the options and recommendations to the commissioners.
I'm Amber Davis with Quest Planning, representing the applicant for this project. So I'll take you through some of the more detailed project components. As you see, that we have the solar array and the storage laydown yard with the context here, the Highway 46.
Amber, could you do me a favor, move the mic a little closer to you?
Sure.
There you
Absolutely.
go. Thank you.
Yep. For the storage laydown yard, the area was originally proposed as a nursery, as previously pointed out. There's about 2,108 cubic yards of cut and fill proposed as part of the storage laydown yard. We will be installing a drainage pipe into the southern portion there as well, just to take care of stormwater, and installing the metal gate at the entry, which would be coming from the existing parking lot into the storage laydown yard. And then there will be 22 solar-powered lights installed in the laydown yard as well. And the base material for the yard will be an reclaimed asphalt base. So that solid gate that's proposed is intended to hide the storage area from our public parking area. The solar lights that are proposed are going to be less than 14 feet tall. And there is an existing berm completely around the storage laydown yard that's going to block the views, any public views, and also mitigate any light and glare from those lights. So looking here from the storage to the storage laydown yard from Sensario's existing main parking lot, that corten steel gate that's proposed is going to fit into the berm area and block off that storage yard. Here we're looking kind of a zoomed out view of the existing lighting within the parking area and that storage laydown yard gate. And then on the right-hand side, that's the lighting within the main parking lot at nighttime. So we have quite colorful lights up there that can be programmed to different colors and themes and such. So our thought with the gate being proposed to the storage laydown yard was we didn't want to make it a focal point. We wanted it to kind of fade away into that berm area and let the lighting really be our focal point of our parking lot. Moving on to the solar array project. So we're proposing a 22,050 square foot solar array. This array is located just off the roundabout, which is the first roundabout you come to when you enter the property there. We've purposefully made it, very visible, wanting the public and patrons to see that, our project is powered by solar. So that was done intentionally. We have, as part of that, there'll be an electrical backboard, which will be about 7 feet wide by 5 feet tall. These are going to be tracking panels, and there will be white crushed rock below those solar panels. So these are a couple of visual simulations. The one on the left-hand side is looking south from the solar array itself towards Highway 46. The right-hand one depicts the solar array from the center median of the northbound lane. So you can barely see the tops of those solar panels there. And then there were additional visual simulations included in your staff report as well. So with that, I'll turn it back over. Yeah, and I'm available for questions after Piper's finished.
Okay, so to conclude, the initial study and the mitigated negative declaration was prepared upon the original project. There was a mitigated negative declaration addendum, 14015. Compared to that MND, the proposed project is consistent as there are no substantial changes and no new significant environmental effects. Some of the conditions that I did want to point out include that those conditions of that resolution 14016 shall remain. The construction will be in conformance with the conditions of approval and the attached exhibits plans. And that prior to issuing that building permit, the applicant will provide a light cut sheet from the solar powered portable lights units to be used in the laydown yard. So that's what you saw in the original, those renderings, what those lights would look like. And that stored equipment shall not exceed 18 feet intentionally to be screened by those 20-foot beam berms. In addition, prior to issuance, the base material of that storage laydown yard will be reviewed by the Regional Water Control Board. And all temporary portable lighting units used for maintenance of the solar array system will be subject to the light and illumination standard of the zoning code, so those dark sky standards. So the options presented to the Planning Commission tonight include approving this project and adopting the resolution based on the findings, approving the project with modifications by amending and adopting a draft resolution, referring the project back to DRC or staff for additional analysis, or denying the project by adopting findings of denial. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt the draft resolution approving development plan PD 25-03, which would amend PD 01-025 to allow the lay down storage yard and solar array system based on the findings and subjects to the conditions of approval. So with that, I will leave it to the commissioners if you have any questions, comments for the applicant or myself.
Thank you, Piper. Okay, we'll go ahead and, any questions? Looking to my right first. Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was on DRC, so I'm pretty familiar with this, but the thing that didn't come up that I recall in DRC, at least not specifically as call out, is the white rock underlying this. What is the purpose of the choice of white rock?
Yeah, so the purpose of the white rock is to reflect, these are dual-sided tracking panels, and so that was a project component.
Thank you, Commissioner Vogler. Commissioner Neal?
So I didn't read in the bio letter that they referenced the white rock. I think what they referenced was that we would see some disking and minor grading and compaction for the solar arrays, and then we would expect that the grasses would replant and regrow underneath the solar. So I'm a little concerned about the white rock and not being in conformance, I don't believe, with the bio letter.
Any feedback on that?
I think another thing to take into consideration that I have not checked in on is fire's requirements for any sort of clearance around the ground-mounted solar. That's something just to be mindful of.
Yeah, so we actually did check in with fire on that. They are not requiring a perimeter road around it. They did want some type of a base material to actually make sure that those grasses don't regrow under the panels, just for a fire safety hazard. And so that's where the white rock had come into play as a approved material that CAL FIRE actually as well liked there.
So then the development is not in conformance that I see with the bio letter. So maybe the bio letter could be updated. So
It could be an option.
Commissioner Christensen?
I was on DRC at the time too, and I concur. I don't remember seeing anything about the white rock. I just remember reading about the vegetation. So maybe that's a good idea about getting it updated, if that's what it takes, so that it would match and bring it into conformance with what they want to do. I understand if the fire marshal is recommending not having the grasses, that makes sense, but maybe we need to follow up on that. I don't
Yeah,
have any other questions.
the white rock was included in our DRC presentation. It may have been missed, I guess, on that.
Commissioner Roden?
I understand the reason to have a reflective element, and also to keep the grasses down. And people who haven't had solar panels don't realize you ordinarily have to spray chemicals or something to keep the grasses down, because you can't weed eat. You'd be smashing your solar panels. I have another question. It's just off the cuff here. The requirement of an approval by the Water Control Board for the storage area, what's that about? Can you clarify that?
I believe it is to assist with drainage and runoff.
So actually, just to clarify that, that was an item that came up during the DRC meeting. I think there was a little bit of concern from DRC members that the crushed asphalt may have some runoff potential. And so it was that we were to go to the regional board and make sure that was an acceptable product to use as a base material.
And have you found that answer yet, or is that in the process?
That's in process, yeah. So
And if that is not acceptable, what's your alternative?
we would just go with a regular base material that we utilize on the site,
Thank you.
an all-weather base, yeah.
So Piper, so who's gonna follow up on that? If it turns out that it is something that needs to be replaced, who's gonna monitor that?
So Darcy was the lead planner on this, but we would work together and have conditions associated as seen to make sure that as they come through for their building permit, grading permit, any associated follow-up, we would be checking those conditions to ensure that at the right stage and when they do make those findings that we keep them on file and on record.
Okay, thank you for that clarity. Commissioner?
Thank you, Chair. I've just got a couple questions. One might seem, maybe you covered it, but I'm wondering what the 22 solar lights, what their function are. You mentioned there'd be 22 solar lights. Is that to
make the parking lot lit up those different colors or?
No, so that's a completely different project that's done. Our main parking lot is installed and completed. The solar lights are for the storage laydown yard, and that's just intended to provide some lighting, for staff and construction members when they're going in and out of that area. They are motion censored, so they will not be on all the time, and they are shielded in conformance with the city's dark sky ordinance as well.
Good. Another question I have, since they're since you're adjacent to Highway 46, I know Caltrans has a planning unit that reviews development. Has this been reviewed by the Department of Transportation for their concurrence?
Yeah, so we're not within Caltrans jurisdiction with this project. It's all on the private property. So there is no need for an encroachment or going to Caltrans for approval on this one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Marlowe?
Yeah, well, this is more just maybe a question for staff or my fellow commissioners. There was a concern on the material in the basin, but all of that basin slopes to what looks to be a detention basin, or whatever you want to call it, with drainage. So what would be the concern? I think the material, it's all going to drain to the same spot, whether it's base or recycled asphalt or whatever it is. What the concern was with the water board. So I was just curious to what the concern was versus, that's just more of a comment. I mean, it's all going to drain to a basin that's got hydro seeding, which has, I'm guessing, some sort of overflow that drains out. So whether it's base or asphalt, it seems like it's going to work pretty well. So is that really a necessary thing to have to go to the water board? It seems, is that a normal standard practice to have to go to the water board for something like this?
No, it's not a normal standard practice. It was just a comment that had come up at DRC and that staff had then tried to address through a condition of approval.
Yeah, I guess it's good to cover bases, but I don't personally think that's necessary. Aside from that, I think it's a nice project. So thanks.
So it was myself that brought up the water board question, just a question that the engineer could ask of the water board on projects in the past that I have been on. We have included recycled asphalt as a base. The water board has rejected that as a surface. So.
Okay. Any other comments? No? Okay. Just a quick question. Because I understand you want the solar panels visible, right? Because you want to show people that you're using solar.
Right.
My question is, being the location of where it's at and the highway, what amenities or what restrictions do you have? I guess my question is the glare that comes from the panels itself. Is that going to be something that's going to be visible from Highway 46, or they face the opposite direction?
They face the opposite direction. So the panels are not going to be facing Highway 46. They're going to be oriented in the east-west direction there, so that you won't get that potential for glare.
Got it. And is that same, not being familiar with the White Rock?
Yep.
Does the White Rock have a glare?
I would not say that the White Rock would have a glare at all. It's like a decomposed white granite rock.
Okay, just curious.
It's just a white material that reflects that lighting back up onto the solar panels. And to your point of it not being specifically included in the bio letter, what was contemplated in that was complete disturbance of the solar panel area. And so the biologists didn't find any special status species in that area. So it was our understanding then that, basing that area or putting some type of a material down wouldn't increase any potential impacts to biological resources.
Okay. Thank you for that, Amber. Okay, that's all I had. Any other questions for Amber or staff? Seeing none at this time. Thank you, Amber.
Thanks.
So I'll open it up to the public to see if there's any public comment regarding this matter. Seeing none in the audience. Marcy, any callers?
No callers.
Okay, thank you, Marcy. So we'll go ahead and close the public portion of this item. Bring it back to the commission for any final comments or a motion.
I'd like to propose that option one, recommend that staff recommends the Planning Commission adopts the draft resolution approving development plan P PD 25-03, which would amend PD 01-025 to allow the lay-down storage yard and solar array system based on findings and subject to conditions of approval.
We've got a motion and a second. Question on the motion, does that include a bio letter update as was requested?
Yes, I would be agreeable to amending that to a bio letter amendment.
Commissioner Roden, would you agree with that?
I concur.
Okay, we've got a first and a second on the floor. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Commissioner Roden,
Yes.
Commissioner Marlowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Kogler,
Aye.
Commissioner Neal,
Aye.
Commissioner Christensen,
Aye.
Chairperson Kovrubias.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Okay, moving on then to discussion items. First item, consent calendar. Are there any questions regarding the consent calendar for DRC minutes, June 2nd, 9th, 16th, July 14th, 28th, and July 8th?
Chair Kovrubias, I have a few, if I could.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Neal.
On the June 2nd, 2025 DRC meeting minutes, item 3. I believe my comment about the detailing on the garage was not just the entry facing Creston Road, but the garages facing the drive into the project, not just Creston Road. And then on Monday, June 9th, the commission members are not referenced as present or who was commission members on that meeting. And we have the same issue on Monday, June 16th. So,
Commissioner Neal, thank you for that. So we'll get those updated. Any other questions or comments? So Warren, question, because there are some corrections that are needed. Do we table the ones that need to be corrected, or can we approve it all subject to those corrections?
I think staff can make those corrections based on the motion.
Okay.
I move that we accept them with the changes recommended by Commissioner Neal for staff to make.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Christensen,
Aye.
Commissioner Neal,
Aye.
Commissioner Kogler,
Aye.
Commissioner Marlowe,
Aye.
Commissioner Connolly,
Aye.
Commissioner Roden,
Yes.
Chairperson Kovrubias.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0 with corrections.
Thank you. Other reports. Paso Robles Streetscape Ad Hoc Committee.
No report.
Okay. Housing Constraints and Opportunities Committee.
Yes, so we are going to start recruitment for 3 new seats on the HCOC. So advertising will go out later this week. So the council has created additional seats that are reserved for certain groups within the community. So one of the groups will be a seat appointed by or recommended by the Chamber of Commerce. So that's seat 1. Seat 2 will be a real estate professional, so that any real estate professional can apply for that seat. And then seat 3 will be an appointment or a recommendation from the San Luis County Home Builders Association. So somebody with development experience. So those 3 seats are open. We're looking for applications. There'll be, I think, a 30-day application period, and the council will be interviewing and appointing in October.
Okay. I have a quick question, Warren. As the chamber, or as the chair of the current Paso Robles Chamber, the seat that the chamber is electing, is it a member from our board, or is it just in general somebody that they're recommending? Do you know?
It's any person you see fit to appoint.
Got it. Okay. We have a board meeting tomorrow, so I'm going to make sure it's brought up.
Yeah, and I guess we're working on a press release, so we'll get a copy over there as soon as the press release and the application come out.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, other reports still, DRC committee rotation schedule. Any changes, concerns, anything upcoming? All right, seeing none, nothing there. Okay. Back to the planning commissioners. Final comments, thoughts, questions? Seeing none. Quiet group today. They're upset because I didn't get us out in 15 minutes. Staff comments.
Couple updates for you. First of all, we're going to be remodeling City Hall, second floor of this building. So staff's going to be moving out of City Hall starting in October. We'll be relocating to different locations. So community development permitting staff's going to end up down here in the council chamber. The rest of the community development staff will be down on Park Street and 14th at the Sandbox. That's that kind of co-working space. The city manager's office is going to relocate out to the airport, and then the utilities departments will go out to the utility buildings. So that's starting in October. At the same time, because we're going to be moving staff down here, we're going to be relocating all the public meetings. So DRC and Planning Commission and City Council will all be meeting out at Centennial Park starting on October 15th. So the first Planning Commission meeting out there will be October 15th. I think the remodel is scheduled for about 3 months. So we imagine we'll be moving back sometime, hopefully toward the end of January. There is a plan to also remodel the chamber after the move is complete. So it's possible that we'll be at Centennial even longer, but I think we're still kind of working on the schedule. So just get ready for that. Niblick Bikeway design will be on the next council agenda, which is September 16th. So the ad hoc has made a recommendation. We conducted the open house. We got positive feedback on that. So we'll be packaging up the ad hoc's new design and bringing that to the council for final approval. Boys School project, also known as the Landing, the development agreement process is moving forward. We're finishing up the EIR, working on staff reports. We do expect that could be ready for the Planning Commission review sometime later this year. So you recall we gave you that really big EIR. You should start working your way through that. That is definitely a real project that's moving forward. The city manager's office, obviously we have a new city manager that created a vacancy for the assistant city manager. So we're in a recruitment process right now. We do expect that we'll have a new assistant city manager on staff in the next month or two. That'll help with a lot of city priorities. Sherwood Road, that's the new road through the Olson South Chandler specific plan. There'll be a dedication event at September 16th, which is the council meeting day, 3:30. So we'll want all the planning commissioners to know they're invited, and hopefully you can show up. They're going to be doing kind of a nice little event at that farmhouse, which is kind of a nice high vantage point where you can really see the project. So we'll get invites out for that coming soon. And speaking of the Olson South Chandler, we do have one of the merchant builders, Trumark Homes. They're going to be building some of the smaller single-family units. They made a request to City Council not to install any natural gas within their tracks. They want to do all-electric houses. So the council had some questions about that. They referred it back for additional analysis. That'll be back on the council agenda in September for a decision. So that's kind of something just to be aware of. It's not a requirement. This was something the developer asked for. So this will be up to the council whether they're going to grant that request. The food truck issue, so the council reviewed food truck policy. They've created a council ad hoc. We're going to start meeting in September with stakeholders, which would include the food truck operators as well as restaurants and whatnot, take feedback that may result in some sort of amendment to our food truck ordinance, which is what we adopted with the zoning code update last year. If there's any changes, because the zoning code will come back through for the Planning Commission to review and recommend before the council would actually change anything. And finally, cannabis. So the council had a study session on cannabis policy at the last meeting. They gave 2 directions to staff. One is to reinstate the allowance for existing delivery offices to also deliver recreational cannabis. Right now, there's a couple offices permitted. There's 3 permitted, 1 operating right now, but they're limited to only delivering medical marijuana or cannabis right now. There was a 1-year period between 22 and 23 where they could also deliver recreational cannabis, but that expired. So the direction the council wants to make that a permanent allowance for those local offices. So we expect that to come through fairly soon. That will have to come back for planning commission review and approval or recommendation. And then they also gave direction. They do want a comprehensive review of cannabis policy. They want us to put together a framework, hire a consultant to do a full analysis of all the potential cannabis uses that could be allowed, which is everything from cultivation to manufacturing to distribution to retail stores and even consumption. So we'll be starting a process sometime probably later this year to start a community outreach to look at that whole program. Once the council gives direction, if there is any direction, it will be a zoning code change, so that will come through for planning commission review and recommendation. Earliest that would be sometime next year. So that'll conclude staff's report.
Thank you, Warren. Okay, bringing it back. Any final comments? If there are none, I'll take them. Oh, Sharon, Commissioner Roden.
Thank you. To follow up the cannabis debate, just FYI, there was a lot of back and forth on that, but I think the tipping point was the fact that people from outside the city were able to deliver here for recreational purposes, as long, they're supposed to pay taxes. Of course, people aren't paying the taxes, but they are still delivering. So it was hamstringing the one individual who is permitted to only supply within the city medical marijuana. So just to make it even across the board, I think that was the tipping point for the council, as I understood it. The brick and mortar, as Warren suggested, is still up for debate, and they're going to be looking into that with the ad hoc. But that's all. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no other comments, I'll take a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.